Hello everybody, this is davetheraverovingtherock and today I'm in Lamlash. I'm just looking down through Lamlash into the centre of the village there, and if I turn around, hear that noise there? Yeah, I'll get onto that in a minute, and back up towards the Whitehouse direction there, and the sky is grey, kind of cloudy. Unlike last night, which was clear. Alright, and it's about 5:30, just after 5:30 in the evening. And I've come here deliberately at that time because it's dusk. It's due to get dark about 6, and I've looked it up on Google, and that's my experience as well. And so I've come to the Whitehouse Woods in Lamlash with the specific purpose of just enjoying the dusk happening, and I've got a reason for doing that, and that is because I've spent the last 2 nights actually at this time in this wood and listening to the herons, and I just love listening to them. So that's the long and the short of it, why I'm here. I would say that just when I've got my bicycle in front of me there, I cycled through from Mountain Bay, and just when I did that, a heron flew over my head and joined another one in the nest just up in the tree in front of me. So I know there are 2 heron up there, and the last 2 nights in a row they've got very noisy about this time, and I could be wrong, maybe it won't happen. But my experience in this wood the last 2 nights, not that I know much about it myself, oh that's the heron there, is that they get noisy, and all the birds do actually in the wood at this time. I can hear another heron, in fact maybe 2 further down the wood there. I'll take a wander down there in a minute and listen out for them. But I know there are 2 up here. There's one there. There's one flying over. See it through the trees here? Flying overhead. Still going. So yes, as I was saying, I come into the wood and listened to them, and got some recording last night, but I was wondering if the noise that came from the herons what's the reason for it? Is it just because they come into land, or is there any other reason? Did they carry on all night? Do they just stop when it gets dark, or when another heron lands in the nest? What determines how much noise happens and for how long? And so I really I looked up first of all on Google as well, but I also established last night what happens, and I was in here and there was a cacophony of noise, and then a bit to and fro with herons as well, but the noise carried on, and then it stopped just when it got dark. So we had all the small birds making noise, and the ravens as well, and the herons, and then the small birds stopped, and in this order, and then the ravens stopped, and then eventually the heron stopped, and that was it for the night, and everybody went to sleep. So I did manage to establish what happens. The wood goes silent just as soon as it gets dark, but before it gets dark it can be quite noisy. It certainly was the last 2 nights. So I know there are 2 heron up there. Last night there were at least 2 more trees with heron in them along this wood, and happily it's still light enough for me to be able to see where I'm going, so I'm going to go along here and just and have a wee listen out at the other end of the wood as well. No ravens as yet. There were quite a few last night. There's a wee cat. Little cat. Hello, cat. Right, I'm at the trees where there were ravens on each side of herons on each side of me last night, so we'll just listen out, see if it makes a noise. So, it's still, it's cloudy. I would say I'm about 3 degrees maybe, 4 degrees, not much. It's nice calm weather. It quite often is in the woods anyway, just because the wind shields the... Oh, there we go. That's it, up in that kind of... I don't know if it's a monkey puzzle tree or something, but anyway, big tall tree in front of me. It's not a monkey puzzle, but it's about the same height. Yep, there we go again. Quite a bit of birdsong in this wood, it's nice. Oh, there's something flapping about up there. What's that? I can see that, I don't know what it is. Like that dove. I think there's a dove up in that tree there. That tree's actually hanging at a bit of an angle. I imagine that's going to come down sometime soon. It's covered in vines as well, and not many leaves. I think that tree's actually a bit dodgy, to be honest. That's going to fall. And hits it. Hopefully that's not one of the ones that the herons are in. So I did look up about herons, just to find out a little bit about them. Oh, this again. That's been a noisy one tonight. I'm going back towards where I came from. Partly to see if the other one's making a noise, but also just to check nobody's nicked my bike. Hopefully not. I haven't seen anybody else in the woods any night anyway, so I think it's unlikely. And they'd have to carry the bike because I've got a chain around it. So the one behind me is just squawking about there. You can hear the ravens now. I guess that's the ravens just starting to come back to where they nest. That's the one in front of me just making a wee noise there. And the one behind. Yeah. So they're communicating, these herons. Oh, there we go. Raven. It's getting noisier here. And I think that's, I don't know much about it, but I think that's the pattern, isn't it? They come back and they make their noise at the end and at the beginning of the day, and then that's them down for the night. I think. Yeah, bird just flew over my head there. Yeah, the ravens, there's quite a few of them above my head now. You can see them in the tree above me. Yeah, and another dove there. A lot of movement up there. So they're all coming back. I think that's what it is. Hopefully I'm right. Not talking nonsense. A lot of them there. Flying right overhead. That's the one behind me, just squawked a little bit there. Just have a look over here. Back towards the tree I started at. Oh yeah, there's my bicycle. Yeah. So yeah, I know there are 2 heron up in this tree because one flew into the tree just when I arrived, and another one greeted it, and I could see their outlines in the tree, so that's an easy one. And these birds are grey heron, from what I can understand, and they're common up the west coast of Scotland. Oh, that's a good noise. And the plural of heron, a heron, if there were more than one heron, it was herons, right enough. It's not a lot of it's herons. the biggest heron is the Goliath heron, and it's 5 foot high and 6 foot across. Quite impressive. There we go, there's one landing. There's one landing right there. See it? That's them welcoming each other. So now there are 3 up there. Right? So that's what's happening, just what I thought. Come back for the night. That's nice to see them making that wee noise. They sound a little bit like geese, don't they? You know. And they're carnivorous birds, so they feed on mostly frogs and crabs and fish and things in the sea and also in rivers, freshwater birds, and so they live on the margins, at lochs and the edge of the sea and rivers and things. And when they do catch a fish, they tend to stab whatever they catch. Stab it first of all, and then with a fish they'll throw it up in the air and make it land so that it swallows its prey whole, and the fish will go down with the scales pointing the other direction so it doesn't get jagged when it goes down. That's what it does, so it kind of throws them in the air first to make sure it's smooth going down. Oh, got the movement up there. I think that's maybe ravens up there though. Oh yeah, I think there's another one coming. Can hear a dove as well. That. Where's that behind me? Yeah. Fair bit of traffic. I didn't realise how much traffic goes past till you're kind of standing still. You can realise quite a lot of things when you're standing still. One thing for me, just how many vehicles there are. Quite a lot. Of course this is the rush hour, I suppose, if there is such a thing on Arran. But still, it's quite noisy. Anyway, and also heron will eat eggs, and they'll just take advantage of any little other opportunities. It doesn't have to be fish, you know. They're opportunistic hunters. Oh yeah, I can see one moving about up there. And mink go for their eggs, so mink are considered to be a predator for them. Certainly on Arran we have got some mink, not many. Most of them were eradicated about 30 years ago, mostly by a man called Bill Greatorex, actually. One man show. And but not every single one went, and they're making a little bit of a resurgence lately, so there's the odd one around. And so I know that nest's gone quite quiet now. I guess that was to guide that one back again, and the other ones aren't making too much noise just now. Wander back there a bit. And this is the Whitehouse Woods, of course. So this is where the Whitehouse Hotel used to be, a really grand hotel, now in ruins, and it was operating until the late 70s. I've seen a picture of it in 1981, and it was derelict by then. So it's a bit of a shame, you know. It was really quite a beautiful hotel, actually, very fancy, and but anyway, so it's been down for 40 years now, and the Woods have just been left to do their own thing, and I appreciate them. This is one of my favourite places. I know it's largely unkempt, but I like it because of that, you know. It's the way things should be. And what I've got above me is what they call a heronry, or rather heronries, because it's a group of nests, and they nest in the same area, so you get lots of different nests, heron nests together, and that's what herons are. So although they're largely solitary hunters, when they're up here in their nests, there are quite a few. I think there are at least 4 nests in these trees, at least 4, and quite a few birds up in that tree there. Oh, just heard the faraway one a little bit there. It's very quiet tonight. But you could have brought me a good camera. The heron just flying above there. Oh. Oh. Squawking. And the faraway one squawking back. Quite a bit of noise. I'm left wondering if that one started to make a bit of noise just because the other one flew overhead. So maybe it's another one that's coming back in. I don't know. Oh, and one at the other end of the woods answering. Sounds a bit like a goose. I like that sound they do. Well, oh, that's the faraway one answering there. Of course, it could be simply that they're getting a bit noisier because it's getting darker. Now, a heron expert will be able to tell me if that was the case, or if I spend all my evenings in the wood, I don't know. I can hear both of them communicating there. You maybe not hear the faraway one, but I can. The wind's picking up a bit now. You can hear the wind in the background. I can't really feel it. No, answering. That's it answering again there. My feeling is that's them. It's just like the dusk chorus. I think it's the opposite of a dawn chorus. Isn't that great? Oh, I can see it. I see its head moving around. Just right in the centre of the picture. I can see it moving around. So that's the nest. Right in the centre. I can see it. See its head. Back a bit. Yep. I can see that here. Can I focus on? That is the heron. Check what we do here. Yep. There. That is a heron's head. I might not be able to hold this camera still for very long. There's a heron's head right there. Oh, that's hard. That's hard to do. Go back a bit further. can get a better shot. You hear the ravens now. Well, its head's ducked down. I can make it out because I know it's there. There. Right in the centre. Now. That is a heron. Let's hold it strong enough. That is the body of a heron in the centre of that picture now. See its neck going up? Right in the centre. So that is a heron's nest. All of that, left to right. It's just sitting there. Isn't that super? Spanning across on that branch. I don't know. Well, at least two up there, I know that. Oh, come back again. Oh, his hand hold the camera still. I don't think there's anything happening here. I think it's just settling down for the night. It'd almost make a nice black and white picture, that, wouldn't it? Silhouette. So that is where a heron lives. Good view up there, that's for sure. Almost at the top of the tree. There it is. See the neck coming up there? It's got its head pointing right skywards there, and it made a noise a little bit like a turkey. Great. Funny how I can only see one head. Yep, that's the one making the noise. Get the answer on the right. It's stuck down there. Oh, another one coming. There's another one. You see it? See it landing? And it came. So that's the reason for all that noise, that cacophony. Guiding another heron home. So I'm not sure how many heron are up there now. And there's the one on the right still answering. Now I've seen that twice, a heron flying into that nest so far since I've been standing here. And there was one there already before I got there, so at least three up there. Flapping about, yeah, you can see two up there. One on the right, one on the left, it is flapping, see? Isn't that great? Two of them kind of head to head there. One on the right still calling. Welcome home. So, without being a genius or expert, I imagine that that bird's brought some food back and now they're either eating it between them or they're, I don't know, feeding it to a young. I think it'd be feeding it too young, too early in the year if it's, what will be the second last day in February? Last day in February. I think it'd be a bit later than this, wouldn't it, before eggs start hatching? So I imagine they're just sharing it. The one on the right's being kind of vocal, but it's quite far away, so you might not be able to hear it. I'm just glad I can actually see a heron. I can see a heron moving around in there. Or the silhouette of one anyway. Quite easily. And I know there are two. The one on the right I can see the easiest. And the one on the left is kind of ducked down, so I'm not sure what it's doing exactly. I think they're both feeding. So they're probably going to stay quiet for a while because they'll be feeding on whatever's come back, I suppose. Isn't that great? And the forest is alive with birdsong now. I can hear lots of small birds. There's a raven there. I'll just turn around. Listen to the rest of the birdsong. Isn't nice? I don't know the names of the birds. I wish I did. You know, it's one of those things, you spend too much of your time working and raising a family and doing the right thing, and you end up doing very little else, you know. I've worked full time all my life, even sometimes had 2 jobs, and I'm almost at the easy part of my life now because I don't have any kids and I don't have a dog and I don't have responsibility. I can be an idiot if I want to be. Yeah, these 2 have gone silent. And so, there's a net coming up there on the right one, flapping about with wings. Gone up to a higher vantage point now. Wonder if it's going to take off again. Oh, and the other one's moving around as well now. Both moving around. And just zoom out a bit. Let's just start flying around. So it's nice to have the time to do silly things like this, you know. Oh, they're tapping each other's. Can you hear that noise? That is 2 beaks tapping each other. Right hard on. One beak tapping on the end of the other one's beak. I could see it in the shadows. So they're both facing each other, and one of them's looking at the other one, and the other one's like almost like stabbing the other one's beak, like just not in a fighting way, and you can hear a kind of thump, thump, thump as every time it bashes the beak of the other one. Just kind of knocking it, not hurting it. The other one didn't move. Just like tapping it loudly. So that must be something they do. Obviously I've just done it. I didn't know about that. That's interesting. I wonder what the purpose of that is. And I can see the one on the right kind of bending down from the high vantage point. It's just bending down. And the other one's quite low down on the left. Oh. Anyway, as I was saying, you spend so long working and charging about, and you realise at some point, you know, that's pretty much all you've done. And I don't know how so many things work and what happens and what the names of trees are and that kind of thing. And there's one kind of standing up now. And you think, you know, I'm going to spend more time doing that and less time working. Yeah. There we go. Yep. I can still make the outlines every so often of the little beaks. I guess that's them settling down for the night.